In this session, we will discuss the Discovery of Homeopathy by Samuel Hahnemann, how his approach changed over time, and how subsequent European advancements have impacted the practice of homeopathy. Samuel Hahnemann was born in 1755. He graduated from medical school in 1779 and shortly thereafter married Johanna, his first wife. He quickly became disillusioned with the way medicine was being practiced, and 2 years after his marriage, he left the practice of medicine. The following quote demonstrates his intense discomfort with the practice of medicine at that time. "My sense of duty would not easily allow me to treat the unknown pathological state of my suffering brethren with these unknown medicines. The thought of becoming this way a murderer and malefactor towards the life of my fellow human beings was most terrible to me, so terrible and disturbing that I wholly gave up my practice in the first years of my married life and occupied myself solely with chemistry and writing." When Dr. Hahnemann left the practice of the medicine, in addition to his study of chemistry and writing, he started translating medical texts to make a living. During one of his translations, he came across a concept regarding quinine and malaria, with which he did not agree. Quinine was used to treat malaria, but oftentimes the quinine would kill the patient before the malaria did. He theorized that perhaps he could dilute the quinine so that it would still be effective but not harmful for the patient. He also discovered that if he took quinine, he got the symptoms of malaria without having the disease. He theorized that this mimicking of the disease was actually the reason for quinine's effectiveness in malaria. He continued to experiment on himself and found other instances in which a diluted and succussed or shaken substance had an opposing effect. He coined the term similia similibus curentur, or like cures like. In 1796, he declared his newfound medicine by saying, "One should imitate nature, which, at times, heals a chronic disease by another additional one. One should apply in the disease to be healed, particularly if chronic, that remedy which is able to stimulate another artificially produced disease, as similar as possible, and the former will be healed. Similia similibus, likes with likes." 5 years after his declaration, Dr. Hahnemann began his practice of homeopathy in 1801. 9 years later, in 1810, he published his famous Organon about the newly discovered healing modality. As he earlier was widowed, in 1834 he married Melanie, an accomplished artist who sought him out originally for a stomach issue. 3 months later, after meeting, they were married. Under Dr. Hahnemann's mentoring, she went on to become a respected homeopath in her own right. After his marriage to Melanie, they moved to Paris, where Dr. Hahnemann was exposed to more chronic diseases. Before his move to Paris, he had treated mostly acute diseases and with patients who lived a cleaner life, not exposed to the high living of excess meat and wine that was prevalent in his French nobility clients. This change in clients led to Dr. Hahnemann to begin using multiple remedies instead of his usual single remedy approach, the approach he discussed in his Organon. This approach, using multiple remedies, was continued by his students, but this new approach was never published by Hahnemann. Because Europe was not as greatly impacted by the politics of healthcare and the discovery of wonder drugs in America, homeopathic study continued in Europe. The importance of liver detoxification, called drainage in Europe, was recognized. The concept of typology, which can help predict a propensity for certain imbalances, was developed. And the use of multiple and complex or combination remedies became commonplace in Europe. These European advances helped shape Dr. Luke's concept of clinical homeopathy, upon which Newton homeopathics was built.